Hi guys, and welcome back to My Basement Reviews. I am here with another movie review, this time for the final chapter in Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, The Dark Knight Rises. Now before I get into the review, I do want to remind everyone that I am going to be switching YouTube channels very soon. I've got a link right here that you can click, which will take you to the new channel, or there's a link in the description, so if you would please go there and subscribe. That's actually where all of my videos are going to be going. After August 24th, 2012 is the official date where I will no longer be posting on this channel and everything will be going onto the new channel. I know for my subscribers who have already heard about this that I said it was going to be after this review for The Dark Knight Rises, but I decided August 24th, that's actually my birthday, and so yeah, there's a few more videos I want to make on this channel before I make that transition. Having said that, let's break right into the review. The Dark Knight Rises was good on so many levels that I honestly don't know how I can express all of my feelings about this film in one video. I literally was so pleased coming out of the theater. There's no words to really describe it. Because the main issue with most film trilogies is it's either the second film or the third film that just is terrible. For the Spider-Man trilogy, it was Spider-Man 3. For the X-Men, it was a trilogy. It was the third one, and then, of course, the fourth one, and it wasn't until First Class that it got good again. And, you know, honestly, if someone pointed a gun at my head and said, pick your favorite, Batman Begins, Dark Knight, or Dark Knight Rises, I don't know if I could make a conscious decision that I could stick to, because there are aspects of all three films that I love, and there are aspects of The Dark Knight Rises that I actually prefer over The Dark Knight. Now, I'm not saying one's better than the other. In fact, I find it kind of silly that that's the biggest complaint about The Dark Knight Rises. Oh, it's not as good as The Dark Knight. But you see, I find fault in that, because a Christopher Nolan film is kind of like a Hattori Hanzo sword. See, when comparing a Christopher Nolan film, you compare it to every other film ever made that wasn't made by Christopher Nolan. For all you movie geeks who get that reference, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Basically what I'm saying is there is something to love about all three films. And honestly, I think The Dark Knight Rises, this is not a spoiler really, but I think The Dark Knight Rises is a better sequel thematically and plot-wise to Batman Begins than The Dark Knight was. Now, don't get me wrong, I love The Dark Knight. But the thing is Dark Knight came out 4 years ago, and it was fantastic, but I think I've seen it a few too many times. And I'm not trying to discount anything about that film because I love it to death. But what I love about The Dark Knight Rises is that it didn't feel like a rinse and repeat. And, of course, I'm talking about Bane as the villain. Because Bane was completely different from the Joker in every other way. That it was amazing how much I was not thinking about The Dark Knight while watching The Dark Knight Rises. Because I've heard some people who are like, oh yeah, Bane was cool, but I didn't like him as much as the Joker. Well, see, the thing is I like the Joker and Bane equally for completely different reasons. The Joker, in my opinion, feels more like he was an object to get in Batman's way. Whereas I feel like Bane was almost like a more realistic type of character. I can't really expand too much on that because I've only seen The Dark Knight Rises once, and I've seen The Dark Knight probably 25, 30 times. So I don't want to say too many things that I will later regret having seen The Dark Knight Rises a couple of times. In actuality, I was planning on seeing it a second time, but this weekend we had a lot going on with the family, and that didn't really happen. Now, the thing that I'm going to find a little bit difficult about this movie review is trying not to spoil anything, because there were several moments in this film where I was caught off guard just completely. Some really great twists in there. In fact, part of the film misleads you for at least an hour, where you think things are one way and they're really not. I thought that the acting was solid across the board. Christian Bale, once again, great in his role. Yes, Batman still sounded like he had throat cancer, but at this point, we were so used to it that it didn't even bother me. And I tell you what, there were so many times, there were some great lines. Batman had some great lines. They were cheesy, but they were just great with that just grueling, evil-sounding voice just screaming at the top of his lungs. Some of these lines was just fantastic. And you know what? Tom Hardy did a fantastic job as the villain. Heath Ledger's Joker was a tough act to follow, and I completely loved Bane in this film. In fact, he did such a good job, I wasn't even thinking, oh yeah, that's the guy from Inception, Tom Hardy, yeah. Because he was Bane. He was not Tom Hardy playing Bane, he was Bane. I even thought that Anne Hathaway did a great job, and this is where I think half of my viewers are going to be split down the middle, is Anne Hathaway's Catwoman. I personally loved Anne Hathaway's Catwoman. In fact, I actually think that she is the best live-action Catwoman that I've seen. Because the thing about Christopher Nolan's version, his take on Catwoman, was not that cat-like in terms of, like, Michelle Pfeiffer licking her hand and wiping her suit. Things like that. He took a very realistic approach with her as a cat burglar, and I really kind of dug that. Yeah, it was a little bit cheesy, but the thing is every other version of Catwoman is way cheesier than Anne Hathaway's Catwoman. And personally, I love Anne Hathaway. I know a lot of people don't like her, but I do. Even, dorky films like The Princess Diaries, I found that entertaining. And so I thought that she did a great job as, a supporting role. I don't want to spoil anything else for those of you who haven't seen the film. But I really liked Anne Hathaway in The Dark Knight Rises. And another thing that I really loved about the film was how the stakes were just so much higher, It's been a long time since I was literally sitting on the edge of my seat. I honestly pity the director who has to pick up the mantle and carry on Batman in the planned reboot, because if those of you who don't know, they are going to reboot Batman after The Dark Knight Rises. And I know that sounds like a terrible idea, but you've got to think about it. Honestly, if Warner Brothers didn't reboot Batman, they'd almost be, like, irresponsible, like, from a business standpoint, because Batman generates so much money. I'm just really happy that they did a fantastic trilogy, that they allowed Christopher Nolan to do what he wanted with the franchise, because honestly, it's really amazing how all three films came together and how they work together. It really does feel like a complete story. And of course, the reboot is only going to be because they are going to make a Justice League movie, but I honestly think that this is going to be the bright shining gem, the Christopher Nolan Batman films, for the entire Batman film franchise for years to come. I hope the best for the Batman reboot, but this was just fantastic. Honestly, there's not enough that I can say about this film without either spoiling the plot or sounding like a lunatic fanboy. All I have to say, really, is that Christopher Nolan has really set the bar high for future Batman movies, for superhero movies, and for film trilogies. And that's what I find so fascinating. This man is going to rule Hollywood for a long time, because honestly, I haven't seen a Christopher Nolan film that I didn't like. All in all, The Dark Knight Rises was a great ending to a fantastic trilogy, and the best third movie in a superhero franchise that I've ever seen in my life. So, having said that, I'm going to give The Dark Knight Rises my very first 10 out of 10. If you've seen The Dark Knight Rises, let me know what you thought of the movie by leaving me a comment down below or a video response. And please don't forget that I have a new YouTube channel here, so you can click the link right here or the link down in the description. So please subscribe, because after August 24th, I will no longer be posting videos on this channel. So, to all of my viewers for the past 3 years, thank you for everything. If there are any more movies that come out between now and August 24th, obviously I'm going to make a video about that. I also have a video I want to make about the Legend of Korra for all my Avatar: The Last Airbender fans. But just in case that this is my final movie review, just know that I really appreciate you guys watching my videos, commenting, discussing things with me. It's meant a lot, and hopefully things will get even better on my new YouTube channel, and there'll be great movies in the future for us to talk about, so I'm really looking forward to that. So thank you again, and I will talk to you guys later.